For all that, though, the Deputy Defence Minister says that Russia may consider building up its nuclear arsenal. That's if the US excludes it from its European missile shield plans.
Comes a year after the two countries ratified the new START treaty, and Primetime's Lindsay France can tell us more about it. Lindsay, good evening. Blown away, literally. Under what circumstances would Russia consider boosting its nuclear supply?
Well, the Deputy Defense Minister did say himself that Russian military doctrine does allow for the use of nuclear weapons in specific cases. Now, in an interview with Kommersant, he did cite the current instability in the Middle East as one reason for boosting the nuclear arsenal. And another is the U.S. boosting its presence within Europe with its anti-missile defense shield. Now, the Russian government has received no written promises from the United States saying that it will not use any of what it's building within Europe against Russia. Words are not enough to be said to the Russian government. The Russians want a written promise from the United States. That has not been forthcoming. And so the Russian government is basically saying that this is reason enough to boost the nuclear arsenal in this case.
Lindsay, there's all very different sounding talks from when we think back to the ratification of the START treaty. I just wonder, do the United States consider that START treaty to have been and still be a success?
Well, the diplomatic officials from the United States have said recently they do consider the START treaty to have been a success since it was ratified just about a year ago now. One of the main aims of the START treaty is to open communication between these two countries, especially with what nuclear capabilities they possess. Now, since the ratification, there have been over more than 1,400 notifications that have gone back and forth, everything from the status of nuclear arsenals to the relocation of bombers. Now, what this does is it prevents one side from creating an incorrect assumption of the other side's capabilities. Now, as far as that goes, the U.S. says it has really been a success in keeping communication open with the two sides. Now, with regard to the written promise that Russia would like to receive from Washington about the anti-missile defense presence within Europe, that is still not been presented to Russia, and talks are still ongoing, but it does look very dismal at this point.
We keep hearing talks about Russia planning on modernizing its military. How else is it about to do so?
Well, a 30-year program has recently been announced to step up naval capabilities for Russia. Now, no specific plans have been announced yet, but 10% of the defense budget has been allotted for this over the next 2 years. And in 2012 alone, 900 billion rubles have been assigned for this. And in April of last year, it was announced that 5 trillion rubles would be assigned for naval modernization alone. Now, that's 25% of the entire money allotted for military modernization. Now, that'll go for two major things. One is about 100 new ships and submarines, and another will be for modernizing naval bases and airfields. So those are two things that it's been earmarked for. We shall see what is actually presented for this plan in the coming weeks and months.
OK, bringing us the latest news. That's our correspondent, Lindsay France. Thank you to you.
Thank you.